So this is Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022 meeting of the Personnel Committee. As a preliminary matter, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees, all of us, are participating via video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you. Take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. This is Claire Pond, Chair of the Personnel Committee. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Sue Terrian.
Here.
Tom Bradley.
I'm here.
Beautiful. Staff, when I call your name, Interim Town Administrator, please respond in the affirmative. June Poland. Beautiful. Okay. With a quorum of the board present, I call this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. All right. So the first item on the agenda is the minutes, which I did not finish. I have them partly done, but not all the way done. So I'll get those to you with these minutes this week. So I'm sorry about that. I always think I've got all this time and then it just flies and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get that done. So minutes next week.
And I also just want to let you know that we do have David Litchwell in the audience just in case. So if he needs to speak, all he has to do is let us know.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yep.
The next item on the agenda are PAFs. So we have, I believe, 2 PAFs. One is for Michael Wheeler, a resignation, and the other one is for Jim Concannon, a resignation.
That is correct.
Okay. Was there anything else, June, that I missed at all?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
June, did you sit in on those exit interviews or have they happened for those two individuals?
I did not. I know that the fire chief was going to be doing an exit interview with Michael. But I don't know if he was going to do anything formally with Jim or not.
Okay.
I hope something's done. I mean, Jim did step up and help out
absolutely.
when we had the problems before.
Yep.
I'm hoping that someone does talk to him.
Yep. Good.
And I know, I know that your card's very full, June, but it would be nice if somebody else could sit in on those two.
All right. I'll just double check with the chief because I'm pretty sure he did sit down with Michael.
Okay, well then I'm gonna make a motion that we approve and sign the 2 PAFs.
And I'll second that motion also with a thank you to both Michael and Jim for their years of service with the town and all the things that they brought to the town when they filled in or did whatever they did for us. So thank you very much. Well, with a motion and a second, any other discussion on this? If not,
No.
all those in favor of approving these 2 PAFs? Aye.
Sue, aye.
Tom, aye.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. And best wishes to both of them. The next item on the agenda is position vacancies. We had already approved that the Community Preservation Committee Assistant, but June, do we need to approve that advertisement that we got, that draft advertisement?
If you could, yes, because that
Okay.
you are the only ones that can approve that. I think we had brought it forward, but it wasn't filled out, and I had to get some information from Tim Wheeler.
Yeah. Okay.
And I did fill it out the best that I can. The only thing is I wasn't sure on what we should have for with the anticipated hiring rate. I didn't know if you did a mid-range or if you started at 1.
We usually start at 1. Do we always put with an anticipated hiring rate or do we just leave the range there?
I've seen them on here. I don't know if it's something that we should do, but
I think that if we, and please, people in the committee, speak up if you want. I think we're okay to just put the pay range for this position is $22.42 to $26.20 per hour. Now, that's our current grade 7. Yep. So, boy, this is getting bad. Yep, 22.
Grade 6, I think, Claire.
So grade 7 goes from 2287 to.
2242, because we're still in
Oh,
current year.
I'm looking at, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
looking at the July 1, sorry about that. So this is another 2% above, so it would be the 2242.
Yep.
And then 2620 is like step 8.
Okay.
So I think if we just put the range in there,
And eliminate the with the anticipated hiring rate.
yes,
Okay.
if our committee is fine with that. The other thing is, do we usually post the entire range or just the first 7 steps of the range?
I think we did the whole range.
Yes, we just did that on the highway one too.
Right.
Am I correct? Yeah.
Yeah. So the top of the range would be sorry, disappeared for a minute there. I was looking for my range sheets for this year that we're in. Sorry. 2242 to 2863.
You should put in the whole range.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So what was
And
it
now-
again, Claire? 28.
2242 to 2863. That's grade 7, the current grade 7. And I know, I'm pretty sure, because I did throw that back to Sue, and she did remember that what we had talked about. We didn't give explicit rates, but we did talk about having that grade, because that's the grade for all the admins that we have, the top level admins. So yeah, 2242 to 2863. That's it.
Okay, so I'll change it to the 2863 as the top level and
Yep.
possibly remove the with anticipated hiring rate of the 2242 per hour,
Yep.
if you all agree on that.
What did do Tom and Sue? I'd like to make a motion with those changes that June just made, 2242 to 2863 per hour, and take out with an anticipated hiring rate of 2242 per hour. I'd like to make a motion that we approve this draft job advertisement for the Community Preservation Committee Assistant.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Okay, if not, all those in favor? Aye,
Sue, I.
I.
beautiful, okay. All right. Okay, so that's done. The next item on the agenda was job description. So I know that Chief Clark had sent us the first had sent us the firefighter one. Mary had redone it in the format that we had talked about, and we had reviewed. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at that? Sue?
Yes, yes.
Tom, okay. So the only thing it's, the select board did approve it on the 22nd of February. And it's pending with us.
Oh, June's got something there.
Oh, go ahead, June.
There's actually just a couple of typos.
Yeah.
Did you catch them or?
So I wanted to like make sure that up the top, the header, that we kind of fix that so it goes all the way over to the left.
Yep.
And then the other thing that I saw was the essential functions. So we can underline that whole line. I think that was it. Did you see something else, June?
I did. If you, right underneath essential functions, if you go down to the first line beyond the parentheses, it says the firefighter / emergency medical. If you look at emergency, there's a line that's underneath the
Yeah, okay,
RNG to get rid of that.
okay, good. Yep,
And then if you go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth bullet, it
Okay.
says on the second line, it says an emergency or en route is one word, not EN
Okay.
and then route.
all right, good. Yep. It's not changing the,
It's not changing anything
yeah,
per
it's
se,
not
just
changing anything in the job description at all, just fixing it up for us.
then
I thought- Yep,
underneath knowledge, ability and skill. The third one down, I believe it should be as applied to firefighting, I think is one word. And not two, firefighting. I think it's all one.
oh, yeah, yep,
And that was all I think I found.
yep.
But
On
it's
the-
just all typos.
Yep, under the physical requirements, I did notice that the employee must lift and or move objects of varying weight. So we don't get into detail about that, but that is listed as varying weights. And that was it. That's all that I really saw as well. And I think it encompassed quite a bit. I mean, it's not, doesn't get into too much detail. You can't. I mean, if you had to list every single task that we all perform, I think it's, but this really, it was good, good bullets for the job description. Any other comments?
I just have one question on that, Claire.
Yeah,
Do they have to go through a physical test before we hire them on this?
yes, yep,
Police
No,
department does?
No, he's asking, I had the same question. I just
oh,
got done doing I just got done doing police interviews. And before they even get interviewed, they have to do a physical fitness type test, not
oh,
the medical fitness.
okay.
And they don't even come in for an interview unless they pass it. And I'm just wondering, do we do anything like that? I know it's not us anymore. It's probably more the union now.
Well, I was
But
gonna
do they
say, I
have to
think
pass anything?
with the
What's that?
police though, with the police, does that have to do with the academy?
No, it's before
No.
they even
Oh.
come in. They do I can't remember what it's called, a Booker test. There's a name to it, but they all have to go and do so many sit-ups and, it's an actual
Wow.
test that they have to do before they even get to go in for the physical.
Correct. Put on all the gear and do a physical test.
Yeah, and I think our fire department should consider that because they're lifting and doing just as many physical tasks as our police department.
June, I've never seen that collective bargaining agreement. Is there anything in the CBA about that?
Honestly, I don't know. I would have to read it. I don't have it with me tonight.
Just-
Um,
It's probably just something for us to think about and consider at some point to talk to someone about.
So I am not aware that a firefighter EMT goes through any of that physical
I know
testing.
that, I know when they first hired them the last time, I know that they went through a physical, but I thought it was after, like a
Yep.
pre-employment type.
Yeah, so you have to be real careful with that stuff. I do know that, because you can't discriminate against people as well. So you have to be real careful on, I know that we had a situation that we had the person, we hadn't made the offer to the employee, this person yet, but they can't, the manager, the new manager, asked them to come in for a physical before an offer was made, but I believe an offer has to be made before a physical examination can be done. But
Right.
that's not to say like a fitness type.
This is a fitness.
Right, right. So based on the changes that we made to the job description, what's everybody's?
We already made the motion, right? So now I can vote on it?
Yep,
Do we make a vote? Yeah, okay. I got lost now. Sue, I.
I did too. Claire,
Tom, I.
okay. But that's a good question for in the future for us, you know, is that going where it's happening with the police officers? I didn't even know that was happening with police, Sue, so thank you for that information.
Double check on the contract too and see if there's anything in there about it.
Right, okay. So there's that. The next item that I had on the agenda for job descriptions was the administrative assessor that Molly had submitted to us. And she had it done in the format that we wanted to have it done. And I read through it. It looked really good. I don't know. Is Molly on the Zoom?
I don't
No?
see her here, no.
Okay, all right. Well, she did submit it to us for review and approval. And based on what I read and reviewed, it looked really good. And I think it met, you know, that previous one that we had made all those changes to and talked about and everything. It looks like they incorporated everything that we had talked about into the job description. So did you have a chance to take a look at that?
I thought it looked good.
Okay, great.
Yep, it looked good.
All right, so based on that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the administrative assessor job description as presented by Molly Reed.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor? Aye,
Sue, I.
Tom, I.
great.
I'm just going to request that Mary put down approved by you at the bottom of it, and then I'll bring it to the Board of Selectmen on Monday.
Okay, great. All right, so there's that one. Right, the next one was the assistant to the town accountant. And I took a look at it. There was a couple of things that I just wanted to bring up on the 7th bullet down, assists with coping. I bet you they need to assist you with coping there, June.
Oh, you have no idea how much she has to do with that.
But I think it was supposed to be copying, right?
I think you are correct, yes.
Okay.
I like coping.
I do too. I think that could have just been an intentional error.
I know. And then on two more bullets down over to the right, the third line down, I think that process accounts payable should be a separate bullet. So the third line down, under that 2 bullets after coping, I think that process accounts payable, verify, purchasing process, complaints should be a separate bullet. So I think you just got to put a return in there. And I think that was it. That looked good. And the town, you incorporated everything that you wanted to go in there, right, June?
Yeah, I actually even change anything or even look at it, to be honest with you, because it was all the same stuff. I just wanted to ask for the title change.
Okay.
She's going to be, because she's going to be applying for certification, and this would give her additional points towards that ability to, so.
Beautiful.
And we did change her title
Right.
months ago,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we already did that.
I thought we had talked about it, but it wasn't changed on the job description. So that's why
Well,
I was
then-
asking to bring it forward to you all to make sure that it was okay.
Then I will
So-
do it again and make a motion that we officially change the title of Amy Grenier from accounting clerk to assistant to the accountant.
I
I
second.
will second,
Okay, go ahead, Tom. You can second.
I will second that.
All right, all those in favor, aye. Claire?
So
Tom, I,
And do we want to also approve the job description as drafted?
With those 2 changes.
Yep.
I will make a motion that we approve the job description with those 2 changes.
Great.
I will second it.
Okay. All those in favor, aye.
So
Tom, I,
Okay, great.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Okay, good, that's done. All right, the next thing I had on here was the, oh, we already did the CPAC ad, okay. The warrant, the changes to the bylaws.
So I sent you over Margaret's suggested updates. Originally, she was going to have all the original bylaw with all of the crossouts, but then she thought it would probably be better if the actual article just showed the finished product. And
Okay,
then we could also do a handout for town meeting, if anybody wanted to look at the detail of the crossouts.
okay, all right. Well, I read through it and it's pretty much everything that we talked about at one of our previous meetings, going over the bylaw and everything. And it takes,
I think it was pretty much taking out the detail out of the bylaw and putting
Right.
that into the policies and procedures. But also, I believe it's noted that the policies and procedures still have to go through the TA, the personnel, and then the final approval would still go through the
Select board.
So it's not that anything could happen by one individual. It would have to be an agreed upon change.
Right, exactly. And the select board still sees and approves all the, I thought it was excellent. We hadn't gotten so detailed that we got finished up all the language like this. So this was very, very helpful. It takes a lot off our plate having to write this all out during a meeting. So I read through the whole thing. The only thing that I questioned at all was and I think it's currently in our bylaw about copies of all proposals shall be provided to representatives of each employee collective bargaining unit. And I was just curious about that because Section 1, second paragraph says that all town departments and positions shall be subject to the provisions of this bylaw except for employees with, covered by collective bargaining agreements. So I was just curious about that, but I believe that's in our current bylaw, and we probably didn't want to change that, so.
Dave made it to Vermont.
Oh, good.
That's my phone telling me I'm there. It is
so-
in the old
So
one.
actually, in the old bylaws, it says employees with all town departments and positions shall be subject to the provisions of this bylaw, except
Yep,
elected officials, employees with personal contracts, employees with school department, and those employees covered by collective bargaining
Right.
agreements. So that's what that old one said.
right. So that's still in there. Okay. And if any provision or application of this bylaw is determined to be invalid under state or federal law, then we may, no, so it was in the old bylaw, so we kept that in there. Okay. All right. That was
So
my
it's
only
Yeah, so it's
question.
exactly the same as it was.
Okay,
The only thing she took out was employee of the school department.
Yep.
And the word those employees covered by. So it just says employees covered by instead of those employees.
okay. All right,
And then she added the provisions by the, as invalid by, under the state or federal law.
yep. Okay. All right, I didn't have anything else to add. Did any?
I didn't have, I went through it with the old ones and all my notes, and it looked like she hit everything that we had talked about at the last few meetings.
Okay, good, good. Tom, did you see anything that you had questions on at all?
No, not on that, no.
Okay, good. All right. So in June, you had a chance to read it, or, I mean, I know you've been out straight,
Yeah,
so.
I kind of went through it quickly just to see if it touched on most of the things that I remember, so.
But
I
it
didn't-
does make it more generic for us. It doesn't get into as much detail. So at least it's not. I think one of the issues that we were having was that if something got changed, you had to remember to come back and change this. So it's not in like 2 or 3 places at the same time. So, which is good. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the personnel bylaw changes as going into the town warrant for the town meeting in May.
I'll second that. I do have one question now that we've
Okay.
seconded it. June, all those warrant articles do get reviewed by town council, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to make
yes.
sure that we,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, good.
And if
Yeah.
we go through these all one more time, usually before we finalize it anyway, so it's almost one of those where there could be another change if needed before
Right.
print. And again, keep in mind, if there's anything else that needs, next year, we can always make another adjustment. But it looks like, I think she got pretty much everything here that we had discussed when we were going over it. As far as
Yeah.
we actually did get, and I think this will make it easier too, so you can make the changes and suggestions and then bring it to the board without it being a big deal, like little things like the holiday changes or
right.
that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So
But it has to be approved by the select board and the town administrator, right?
to have any of the actual policies, yes.
Yep,
Okay. Okay.
Do
okay.
I
Claire,
I
I,
voted.
I,
okay. So those are approved. Good. Oh, that's a big step. That's a big step. I didn't know if we were going to get that done this year.
And we also have to keep in mind too, that any of the actual policies that are set by the 3 of you, not just you personnel, but the TA and also the selectmen. I do believe that we still have to do like a public hearing, I think is,
Yes.
so once you come down with it, then we actually hold a hearing. It has to be sent out to all the collective bargaining agreements.
Yeah,
And they all have, you know, so the opportunity where if anybody disagrees with anything, it can be brought forward. So it's not all of a sudden, we're gonna make major changes and nobody's gonna know about it.
right, exactly.
Okay.
Right, okay, good. All right. Now, the next item that I had written down, I was just curious more than anything, because June, I know you're gonna give us a little report on things that have been going on anyway, but how about, did you get any responses to that request for how the ARPA funds should be used? And who decides, does finance decide that, or how does that
Don't
usually?
ask.
We received over 90 ideas for funding.
Okay,
We had very few with dollar amounts. The last that I had looked at it at the point when we had 60 items, only 25 came with dollar amounts, and it was already at a $1.1 million.
oh,
So Margaret, one of her first assignments on her coming back was to have her work up like an evaluation form.
okay,
And the thought originally, and it still is, that we thought that because of the dollar amounts involved in it, it really should involve not only the selectmen, but also the TA, capital planning and finance,
yeah,
just so that way everybody is on the same page. The original thought is that because we weren't using the ARPA funds for all the categories, we received the funding based on lost revenues, was to have it so that it's a one-time money source. So we were hoping that we could use it towards items that would prepare the town better in the future.
yeah,
And possibly the thought is to save the town money, so
Yeah.
that this way here, we could use it towards items that maybe we need to have engineering costs done so that we can apply for grants, so that it wouldn't, the town wouldn't have to actually pay for things versus, you know, we could get grant funding. But the selectmen on Monday feel that we shouldn't be waiting to make a lot of these decisions. So they are going to come up with 4 items each, and they're going to discuss them. I believe it's at their next meeting, I think, and go through them to see if there is money that should be spent prior to us actually getting everybody to process things. But
okay,
That
we're
still
still
has to go
working.
to, that still has to go to FinCom and with you and with the finance advisor.
We feel that it really should go through everybody, just so
Yeah,
that way everybody's on the same page.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope it goes
Good.
through everybody.
And again, as much as 1,900,000 and some change sounds like a lot of money, we're finding that most of the ideas that came through, it's like just gone.
yeah,
So it's something I feel that it's going to be a lot harder than what we had originally thought it would be, just because, I mean, and I'm going to say the majority of the ideas that came in are actually great ideas.
good,
Some of them were eye openers. Some of them were really good ideas that I think should be brought forward. And even if we can't fund them through ARPA, that maybe we should try to figure out other ways to come up with some of it. And then the other idea too is that it doesn't have to come just from ARPA. You know what I mean? There might be a way for us to do different things through different funding sources
yeah,
too.
well, look at us, that grant that we got to do the HR consultant to come. I mean, we were very fortunate in that realm, and I think we got a lot of work for the money that we spent.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, is we don't want to be using the funds to purchase things that are going to actually cost the town money in the future, because they're, you know, we don't want to have it so that we're committing to future expenditures if we don't have to either. So
Right.
we'll see how it
Good,
goes.
good. So
Good luck.
June, town administrator report, how are
You
things?
volunteered, Sue? No. I'm sorry, Claire.
So Sue, thank you very much for volunteering to help out with interviews for the police, right?
I did the police. It
Yeah.
good set of interviews. We did send one candidate forward to talk to Eric. Well, we ranked them all because it does sound like there could be some other different situations. So we did rank the 5 candidates that did come in.
Great, good,
And
okay,
it's a good group. It's 3 police officers and 2 people from, 2 residents.
great, okay. Thank you for doing that. And June, what other things that you want to report on?
The only other thing is that we did have interviews for the highway, the
Oh, good.
new position there, and we had 5 candidates.
Did Tom,
And-
were you able to help with that?
Was there,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and out of the 5, 1 showed.
No,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it didn't go as well as we all had hoped, but it's still in considerations. And there was somebody that actually showed some interest today that wanted to know if there was a job position open. So I don't know, but Fred might entertain that once he gets a copy of a resume and sees what's going on for there.
okay, good.
We are going to have to start thinking about Fred's old position. So that's something else that we're going to have to redo the job description for him.
Okay.
I don't know if I have access to that. So I'm going to check with Margaret. Trying to think what else is open. Thought we had somebody else. The electrical
Then I-
inspector. is
Yeah.
the-
I told Sue, probably gonna make it.
You are
You are?
probably,
Yes.
Which one's that for, Tom?
The electrical, I told Sue that, I would give her an answer by Friday, so it'll either be me or Sue. But, most likely I might be able to, because I looked at the calendar, June, and one's one week and one's the other week, so I might be able to do it. It's not in the same week.
Great, good, thank you.
Yep.
That is going to be March 10th. We're going to do
10th,
those
yeah.
interviews.
Yeah,
And
are those in person or Zoom?
don't know the answer to that. I believe they were going to be in person, but I'm not 100%.
That's what I thought he said on his email, the second one he gave you, I believe, June. So it was gonna be in person at the town hall, that's what he said. But that
Yeah,
might change.
He sent them out just before he left on vacation, and he won't be back until later next week. I think it's next week.
So that's something we gotta figure out, correct?
Correct, because we don't even know if everybody came back with a positive that they would be able to make because he, I think,
Fine.
just sent out to get back in touch with them as far as a time slot, so.
Okay,
But I will
Okay.
keep both you and Sue posted just in case.
okay, great, thank you. Anything else that you can think of, June, that you wanted to bring to us?
Pretty much the bylaws we did, the job description. We've got the resignations. So
Okay.
I believe now that you've approved the job description for the fire department, I think the chief is planning on advertising that right away.
Yeah,
And he's gonna run the ad, I believe he said 14 days, 10 days, 14 days.
okay, beautiful, good. And we already approved that, so,
Yeah, so he's gonna do that. And then Sue said that there's the police openings. Unofficially, I do believe that we're gonna have a second position available. So we're gonna have to hire 2 new.
Right, yes.
I haven't gotten anything officially, but I hear that there's a possibility that we're gonna be losing another police officer, so. And then the electrical highway labor, so I think that's it.
okay, good. So Tom, anything that you can think of that you'd like to bring up that we need to talk about?
No,
My list is checked off.
Oh, good. Okay.
uh,
Tom, it's good to hear
No.
your voice.
This
Okay.
is wonderful.
nice.
Thank you
I'd
so.
love to see you in person.
June,
Pretty soon, pretty soon.
Pretty
June Board
soon.
of Health canceled their meeting last night. Is that correct?
They did. I talked to actually Sue today to see what the feel was, and they're gonna wait another couple of weeks. They're hoping that Berlin positive rates go to 0 is what they're hoping for, but so we have 2 more weeks to wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We gotta get working on these policies still. You know, that's one thing that's on our list. It's just too
Yeah.
hard to do it Zoom wise, but anyway. So if there's no other business, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Okay, Tom?
I got no problem with that.
Okay, then all those in favor? Aye,
Sue, I.
I.
great. Well,
Thank
thanks,
you.
everybody. June, thank you very much for all your help